Yes, welcome back fellas, how you been doing? It's been a while since a video. That's because we haven't had the world's most amount to chirp about, but we're going to do a little bit of chirping today, as this is the hot lap for qualifying right now. As we take a quick look at the room, Apex Warrior, #1 bloke ranked in the room, #1 rank in the room. Yeah, English first language, no big deal. As we go 4 tenths up in this sector, we'll take a look at the second half of the room now. Yep, myself ranked 13th, will be in car 13. Big shout out to Village NZ. He's made his way into this room, got himself a nice little S rank there. As we fast forward through this long section at Suzuka, let's have a check at the split, the final split, to see what's going to happen. Yep, we're a second up, doing okay. I would like a top 5 start, maybe a top 7 start. I would have been happy with that. Revolver looks like he's getting blocked ahead there. As we know, there's a lot of time to make up through Casino. Gonna get a nice little slipstream as well. Yeah, strippers, whatever. Don't even know what that means. And that was a purple, ladies and gentlemen. That was a purple. So Revolver doesn't get his hot lap in, we do, and we managed to find 6 tenths in that last sector, and that puts us on pole. So yeah, probably a little bit lucky. As we roll the start screen for the Nations Cup, get some of that classical music into you. I know you all love it, as do I. So yeah, we're on pole. Revolver out of P2. Some bloke I've never seen before, Godo or something like that, in P3. Then Village with the qualifying session of his lifetime in P4. Trying to do this off memory. And then maybe Donnie May. That's a familiar name, we've said that a few times. So yeah, I've managed to remember that. But here we go. Myself, P1, car 13. Thanks for coming. Revolver 45 out of P2. Godo, Wi-Fi password out of 3. Village NZ, mad shoutouts, watches a few videos when he can. And Donnie May, about the last bloke we need to know for this video, as we get the race underway. So yeah, give me a little bit of props. I've worked out how to put a border around that screen in the bottom right hand side. I think GT Sport have even improved their replays. It looked really good quality when I was watching it earlier. So the opening lap, down into turn 1, turn 2, we're still in first, so we can tick that box. Can we make it to the end of the first lap in first? That is always the difficult part when you start on pole. I don't know about you blokes, but I always put myself under a little bit of pressure. The palms get a bit too sweaty, as Revolver has closed that gap down to 3 tenths. He's getting ever larger in the mirrors as this lap comes to the halfway mark. Try not to make an error through these Degners. Look at that, missed the apex by a mile. Almost put myself in the sand there. Have a quick look behind. 2 tenths now. Now Revolver is quick. I was hoping, or the plan is, to stay in front for at least the first lap, and hopefully a gap will build behind Revolver, and then if he does get the move done, I've got somewhere to slot into and I've got a little bit of a buffer. A top 3 finish is probably realistic for this race. I felt Probably P2, I'd be happy with the P2. P3 I'd be a little bit disappointed, but it's, you know, really didn't expect to start on pole. We've already done a race as well. We did the first race of the evening. This is the second. Live streamed that, so check that out. We made it all the way to about lap 6, I think, before we binned it. So as we come down in the casino, Revolver locks up. Just tried not to pick up any penalties, juggle my way through here, and there it is, another box to tick. We've finished lap 1 in the lead, and the status quo is 7/10 over the line. So a little bit more relieved now. Revolver coming under pressure from Godo. I think that's what we'll call him, Godo. Sounds alright. Donny May looks like he's made a move on Village. So a little bit of battling back there. As I concentrate on this gap, opens up to 1 second as we come up to the first sector split. So I'm starting to get a bit comfortable. Oh, but no, we've made a little bit of an error because that's back down to 6/10 before we know it. So as long as this car is about that size in the mirrors, I feel as though I just have to put in some decent laps, hit some apexes, try not to make too much error. Don't really feel that I have to be blistering fast because the tyres did go away late in the race. So race 1 we learnt that the tyres are a bit of a struggle in the last couple of laps. So I don't want to go hammer and tong early and get rid of all the grip, trying to build that gap. If the gap happens, I'll let it happen. So not much movement in the order, just circulating, starting to feel a little bit more comfortable now. We didn't get the drive out of Spoon, and look at the difference that makes. So Spoon, a super important corner on this course, and that's down to 2/10 as we go through 130R. So we're going to stay to the right a little bit. Just if Revolver wants to go around, he's going to have to go around the long way. Don't want to let him pass too easy. I was near guaranteed that was going to be a penalty there. We ran wide on the exit. Took us ages to get on the throttle. Stay left now. So I think this battle is already lost as we come down into turn 1. And it's about this point I realise Revolver was going to give that up. I'd almost thought that he had the position there and I didn't want to turn in on him. I'd lifted off and coasted early and he just never came past me, so he was obviously being ever cautious as well. Didn't really want to make contact. He did look like he was about half a second quicker than me in qualifying. So now we're just going to try and sit up on the rear bar and hopefully get the toe and hold this second spot. So second spot is the target, and as we come down into the first Stegner, Revolver has put the outside left rear on the grass and made his way straight to the scene of the accident. So we've inherited first once again. So now the pressure is rising. If anything, I thought I should be able to beat Godo, but in race trim he has been very aggressive, stuck right up on the rear bar of Revolver, and we're sitting at about 8/10, halfway through lap 3. We'll see what happens there. Back down the grid, Village looks like he's made a mistake somewhere in the last lap or so. He's dropped down to 6. Mercedes 111. We're regularly seeing him these days as well. He's made his way up to 5th. Yep. Don't ask me how to pronounce any of these words. So as we come towards the end of lap 3, 1 second gap. Just wave the checkered flag now, fellas, because I cannot be bothered racing anymore. I'll just have this win, chalk it up. Thanks for coming. And once again, out of the casino, we've gotten poor drive and Godo is just going to hunt me down this straight. He's already chopped out half a second. So definitely chuck something in the comments if I've got the wrong line through Casino. Let me know how to improve that. I thought I was alright through Casino because that's the sector that got me pole position, but obviously there's a little bit of room for improvement, or maybe just time to lift the consistency. Godo down to 4/10 now, and the palms and the sweat has re-emerged on the palms. So the wheel's getting a little bit slippery. 2/10 now. I'm praying he doesn't dive up here. I'm like, come on mate, just don't dive bomb me here. Please don't dive bomb me. Because if I run off into that sand, that is race over, and that'll be 2 races in a row we've had to finish backwards. So we get a little bit of drive, but not enough. I move to the inside here to defend, and then instantly realise you want the outside to defend there, and Godo doesn't need a second invitation. He has slipped straight up the inside. I want to make a move back down into the spoon, but his car starts glitching and I don't know what's going on here. It just starts moving across my screen, and that is the single most off-putting thing I've ever had. I didn't know whether I was touching him or bumping him. I've got no idea where his car actually is. I'm trying not to run him off. We're going to get ourselves a tow down here. As his car's still moving, I think he might actually be where his car says he is now. He comes across to cover the outside. I didn't want to back off, so he does get a little love tap. That might put him off. And he's chucked the wheels on the grass there. Seems to have recovered, and then no. He's locked the rear end down at Casino, and once again, at the end of lap 4, I've inherited first. Yeah, chuck something in the comments if you thought that was my fault. I don't really think it was. I'd lifted off and given him room. I really didn't want to back out of it down the straight though and lose too much time. So as we get a little bit sideways, Donnie May is now the closest challenger, sitting at 1.8 seconds back. So the sweat has started to recede from the hands. They are drying. 2 laps to go. I can afford to comfortably drop a second a lap and still win this race. So that's sort of a little bit that's going through my head. So no need to attack every apex. No need to run the outside tyres all the way to the grass. Just keep it comfortable. Just keep checking the sector splits. You'll notice there on the second Degner that I was very, very cautious. A little bit loose on the tail end going down into that hairpin. Did get a few beads of sweat on the forehead. Look up and we were quickly dropping time. Super important. I've said it a million times and I guess I'll keep saying it. That hairpin and spoon, you really need to get good drive out of there. As we try and collect that apex, miss it by a mile. But the gap back out to 1.6. Donnie May now under lots of pressure. Godo has recovered, as we saw in the back of that clip. And we might get to see in the back of the little clip now that Godo is going to make a move, is he? Do the names change? No, not yet. So Godo sits in third. No, they've changed now. So there must have been an incident. They dropped to 3 seconds back. And my maths is impeccable because now there is 2 laps to go. I've been talking for about 2 minutes of how there's 2 laps to go. So 3 seconds, 2 laps. Should I chalk the win up or shouldn't I? This track has plenty of grass and they run it all the way to the white line on the edge of the track. So you haven't really won this bad boy until the checkered flag drops and your car passes under it. But the confidence is growing. 3.1 seconds. Godo seems to be an eternity away. As we have a quick look on the right hand side of the screen there, we opened with the 215, yeah, that's regular, dropped straight into the 210s at 211. I'm pretty sure that's when we lost out to Revolver, and then back into the 210s, 10.7, 10.7. So I'm going for consistency here, trying to make up for that first race. The first race was a little bit all over the shop. If we can just peg ourselves another 2.10.7, I want, yeah, can we do another 2.10.7? I don't know. Definitely want to see something weird like 2.10.7 in the comments if you've listened to this bullcrap. So now we're just over 1.5 laps away from the finish. Godo has started to make his move. It's back down to 2.5. We can't see him in the little screen on the bottom right hand side. He's nowhere to be seen. And 130R almost tried to suck me off then. It took ages for the front end grip to come back. Now Casino wants to take his shot at it. And as we come across the line with 1 lap to go, the gap is going to be 2 seconds. So this is going to be a ginger lap. We're back into the 211s. So that was a very ginger lap. We've sacrificed nearly a full second, and that seems to be as much as Godo has caught up. So it looks like it's all under my control. That front is not turning in like it used to. And these S's at Suzuka, they like a car that turns in. As we come under the first split, it's still a 2 second gap. So I'm feeling okay. Feeling okay, fellas. I'm feeling okay. I'm almost about to chalk this one up. 2.5. Coming through the Lesmos. All the Degnas. Why do I keep confusing those? We're going to have to get out the Wikipedia, I think. We will get out Wikipedia and we will write down which ones are which, because I'll be racing at Monza shortly after this for Super Formula Sundays. So we're recording this just before that. Half a lap to go. It's back out to 2.5 seconds. So Godo's tyres must be well and truly second hand by now. Nice and easy into the first spoon. Even easier on the way out. Really went slow on the entry just to pick up the apex so I could get the drive out of there. Last thing I wanted was to be caught going down here into 130R on the final lap. That would have been what nightmares are made of. Didn't even use the curb. Haven't used the curb on the outside. On the brakes about 30 meters early there. Barely getting the inside tyres up on these curbs. And we're just going to roll over the finish line here. Easy does it. So super unlucky for Revolver. Dropping it into the sand. That's got to ruin your race. I'm not even sure we're going to see him in the results. That's how much it took away from his race. So Godo almost equally as unlucky. Runs wide through 130R. Wheels on the grass. That's not where you want him to be. That was the fate that served me on race 1 of this night. Got the outside wheels on the grass. I ended up doing a end-to-end swapper instantly, and there was no coming back from that. Dropped about 10 places. So as we scroll down a little bit, yep, there he is in 16th. So big shout out to Village. He made his way back up to 5th. And yeah, so just bring on that finish screen, fellas. Just bring on that finish screen. We're going to roll the credits. There it is. I think it's my 10th victory and my 4th FIA win, but also a points PB. Super stoked about that. If you've made it to the end of the video, give us that like. Subscribe if you're not already, fellas. and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.